This is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dark Elevation. This is from May 24th, 2021. It's a reasonably length show. That was terrible. It's episode 11. It's very much in the pattern of a good Elevation show. The debut of the two New Japan guys I thought was really cool. Putting them in the last two matches and really letting them get to exhibit what they do. All of that was a home run. The Gun Club profile I thought was really cool. I'm glad that they are back to doing that kind of feature regularly. And it looked really great. So Tony Schiavone and Paul White are commentators. Again, they continue to improve, particularly Paul White. I like that Tony Schiavone at times calls him Big Paul, and their rapport feels very real. Their chemistry feels very real. We open with QT Marshall against Robo. We've got everybody for the factory at ringside. QT really relishing this heel role, playing patty cake on his head, slapping him in the face, just being a jerk. Robo does get a short rally, but we get that. It's really cool, actually. QT grabs him and gives him this kind of backbreaker, flatliner combo, and then hits him with the cutter and wins. 3 check marks. By the way, most of these matches, I think there were only 3 matches that I would categorize as non-squash matches. But for the squash matches, they get a 3-check system. 1 check for the right person being put over in a memorable fashion. A 2nd check mark for that person looking really good in the process. And then the person who's losing, you get a 3rd check mark if they do a good job or given a disproportionately large amount of offense. And I think Robo did a good job here, really making QT look formidable. So 3 check marks. For the competitive matches, we'll go over that once we get to one. Second match, Abaddon, Layla Gray. This was just straight Abaddon destroying Layla Gray. There was really no fighting back by Layla Gray. She vomited blood on the stage, Abaddon that is. She did her zombie tricks. She won via the Widow's Peak. I still don't like her doing that move, but they're determined to let her do it, and at least it's beginning to look better and better. 3 check marks. Layla Gray obviously just got run over. Thunder Rosa in our third match against Ashley D'Ambrose. They did a lot of classic wrestling stuff, which I really liked. Thunder Rosa did a pendulum submission and smashed Ambrose's head into the turnbuckle. Really cool. Rosa did her fireman's carry front slam and did the Peruvian necktie submission to win again. Cool stuff. We're establishing that as a thing for Thunder Rosa. I think it's smart. 3 check marks. And that match that Thunder Rosa is going to have in the NWA, where if she loses it, she can't wrestle anywhere else, which I think is a really dumb stipulation in a lot of ways. Hopefully we don't get Thunder Rosa exclusively with the NWA, because I won't see her, and neither will most people, because people tend to not watch that on Fight TV in great numbers. The Gun Club profile I thought was really good. I like Austin and Colton talking about what it was like when their dad was on the road. And it's clear that the bond that they have between father and sons, and even between brothers, is very real. And I thought it was kind of a cool detail that Billy wanted his sons to graduate college before even considering careers in pro wrestling. I think that's really cool. Gives us a little insight on who Billy Gunn is as well. I've actually worked Billy Gunn in a match, and I just found him to be a real, kind of just a laid-back cat. I just like the cut of his jib, and that really came across here. Cool. And the pride that Billy has that he's sharing the end of his career with his sons. I just really like this segment, and it really worked for me. We got Lee Johnson against Daniel Garcia. This was a little more competitive. I still wouldn't call it a competitive match. And then we had a shoulder breaker, neck breaker over his knee here for the victory. So I guess that's what Lee Johnson is going with. And hopefully they stick to it. And they made this match seem a little more heated because they were talking to each other and all this kind of stuff. So good outing for both guys, 3 check marks. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, we get a promo with them here. They're already in the tag team rankings, but they also want to get into the singles rankings. So Sky and Page are going to do so against Dark Order 5 and Alex Reynolds. So cool. We're setting up the other parts of this show. Nyla Rose against Robin Renegade. This is what you would expect it to be. It's Nyla Rose in a complete and total squash. Robin Renegade, though, looks good in defeat. I'll give her that. And so 3 check marks. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Are we going to have our third elevation with 3 check marks all night long? We shall see. Ethan Page against Alex Reynolds. I'll be charitable and call this a competitive match. So with competitive matches, if both people look good, which in this case they do, that's a check mark. If the proper person is put over in definitive fashion, that's a 2nd check mark. And then you get a 3rd check mark if something feels like it is advanced for use on a bigger show. And I would say yes. I think it's clear that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are disrespecting the Dark Order. I imagine that will manifest itself in somehow, some way. So 3 check marks. I take Hunty against Queen Aminata. Conti steamrolls. Usually Conti gives up a lot of offense, even in these kind of jobber matches. And I also like that her judo throws, instead of just being sort of a segment in the match, actually led to the hammerlock DDT for the victory. I like that. I think Tay Conti is kind of figuring this stuff out. She does a lot of things awfully well, but sometimes things seem like they don't quite work together. So I really like this. It's my favorite sort of squash match outing for Tay Conti, and Queen Aminata continues to do a good job, 3 check marks. Pentagon against Mike Seidel. We'll call this competitive as well, even though it was pretty clear Pentagon was going to win this thing. This was one of my favorite matches of the show. Mike Seidel is a guy that I like quite a bit, and Pentagon, he was there for all of Pentagon's cool stuff for sure. That package pile driver just looks like death. And so we'll give a check mark because both guys look good. 1 more because Pentagon looked very devastating. And they're really putting forth this idea that Pentagon is incredibly brutal with the nature of his moves. So I'll give that a 3rd check mark. Scorpio Sky against 5, another, I'll call it competitive. Allin Angels with a good showing here. Sky, I like how he got into the heel hook. He reversed an Irish whip. He did a low takedown, transitioning to the heel hook. I liked it. It was really clever. It felt like it came out of nowhere, and it happened as a result of wrestling. I did like it quite a bit. And we got to showcase Allin Angel's speed at one point, actually outmaneuvering Scorpio Sky for a stretch of the match. So I'm going to give this 3 check marks. Matt Hardy cuts a promo. He created HFO because he wanted to make money. He wanted to make the most money while he still can. He lost focus on why he came to AEW. He's going to make people start putting reverence on his name. Good deal here. And then we have Matt Hardy against Fuego del Sol. He beats the crap out of Fuego del Sol and wins with the leech. Not much here to talk about. Fuego del Sol is one of their better hands as far as guys who lose. 3 check marks, easy peasy. Then we had the 2 New Japan Pro Wrestling matches. Right? Ren Narita, I liked it because he does kind of a different style than they do in AEW. Really crisp wrestling here, and really like it. But compared to the usual AEW style, it might feel a little start-stop for people. I thought it was a nice change of pace. And because he's usually, Royce Isaacs, who usually is just in tag matches where I haven't really gotten to see his skills. Boy, he got to show out for this. This is a really great match. I'd say my second favorite compared to the main. Red Narita looked really good. 3 check marks. And then finally we had Rocky Romero against JD Drake. Boy, was this awesome. Drake really got to show off here and throw Romero around a lot. But Rocky Romero, at the end of the day, really got to shine, defeated Drake in spite of Drake's whole entourage being here, and Drake removing his club shirt for this match. Really looked good. 3 check marks. Guess what? We have the whole night with 3 check marks all around. Really good episode of Elevation. Hopefully they can get those numbers back up of people viewing if they keep doing stuff like this. This has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling.